can't remember who was the beneficiary of the try in the end, but was a good moment where they turned defence into attack for Trinity.
It's Ben Jones-Bishop on it.
Was it Ben Jones-Bishop's try? Yeah. I get the sense with Wakefield as well is they've got a lot of strike weapons and pace, because Caton Brown coming in, he's not quite the powerful centre that Bill Tupu is, but he's certainly an incredibly quick player. So, and when you've got Ryan Hampshire as one of your halves as well, if you make a mistake, like happened a couple of times in this game from Huddersfield, if you make a mistake on the attacking position, these Wakefield backs are so quick that they're gonna take full advantage of that, and that's one of the things that's rescuing this Wakefield side from the hideous injury toll that they've got at the moment. Is
plenty of pace,
loads of pace,
They can't coach it,
and they can clear the lines as a result of it really, really quickly. So whether they score or not, they're getting away from their own end, which helps them no end, I think. And you got to give them credit for how they're using what they've got. At the moment, Wakefield, because everyone's got injuries, but Wakefield have got more than almost anyone, it feels like, at the moment. For Huddersfield, I just don't know when an 80-minute performance is going to come.
No. They play some really nice stuff.
Yeah.
And when they were sweeping down the right, some of them double out the back plays that they play, it's nice stuff, and they're hitting the winger and creating space, but they just, I think in this game fatigue played a factor after Easter, because there was some proper lame defence from both teams near their own goal line. But
dummy half tries were present in this game, weren't they?
Yeah, and I'm, as a staunch Rhino, I'm thinking ninth at best if we can get in front of Huddersfield, and I think it's those four teams, Leeds, Huddersfield, London and OKR, are just try to slug it out to stay out of that bottom spot. That's my perception of it.
It's just really confusing with Huddersfield, though, isn't it? It must be a fatigue thing. It must, because in the first half against St Helens, they had a spell where they put 2 or 3 tries together
quickly.
Really beautiful rugby as well, and
that's
the same
right,
against Warrington. And that's the top 2 sides. In this game, just after half time, they strung a run of tries together, and like you say, it was fast, crisp passing. All the players hitting the right holes on the right lines.
That's right, really smooth moves, really good dummy runners. Yeah.
But they can only do it for 15 minutes, and then it goes to shit. It's really baffling at the moment. If I was a Huddersfield fan, I'd really be scratching my head, because you can't say that you're a shit team when you watch what you're doing, looking so nice and smooth, like you say. But you can't say you're a good team when you can't win games.
Correct.
Fair enough. Right, well done to Wakefield pulling out another narrow win with a scratch side. Moving on to the 4th game, the 3rd of Friday night. Lots of games on Friday night this week. And it was Hull FC versus the Catalans Dragons. And Hull took the lead in this one. They went into a 6-2 lead early on, but it ended up 18-6 to Catalan at half-time and 37-6 to Catalans at full-time. 9,830 were there. Ben Thaler was the referee. Individually, Braden Williami, 1 try assist, 5 tackle busts, 197 metres and 3 clean breaks, had a really stellar performance. Sammy Stoney Lange, 1 try assist and 189 metres in the other centre. Didn't look too shabby either. Arthur Romano, the young outside back for the Catalans, is going well at the moment. 1 try assist, 6 tackle busts and 122 metres. Maybe some of the more established players might find it hard to get back in ahead of that kid. And Matt Whitley, who's having a fantastic season, 1 try, 44 tackles, 10 of which were marker tackles. In terms of the losing Hull FC side, Josh Griffin, 108 metres, Scott Taylor, 103 metres. Yeah, mate. Danny Houghton, 43 tackles, 5 tackle busts, and Jack Logan, 128 metres. Do you want to give us the first of the fan views? Good luck for this one. It's always a fun one to do.
Malkarma Tios, bad scheduling karma, 2/3 of round at same time. Hull are knackered. We're not. Great expect Tony G, of course.
I think that's we're not great, except Tony G, of course.
Oh, we're not great, except Tony G, of course.
Joshua's granddad said, no Shaw, no Carlos, no Kelly, no Snide, no energy, no idea, no defence. Leaving the edges hung out to dry. Final score could have been a lot worse. Highlight being Tompkins taken out by 2 of his own when the line beckoned. I hear that this one was quite a pantomime when it came to Sam Tompkins and his goal kicking. He nailed almost all of them from bang out wide, though. So he probably had the last laugh over the Hull fans, whether he scored that try or not.
I think the scoreline says who had the last laugh on it. Yeah. Always in our shadow said 7 props in the starting 17, and yet when Pyer and Taylor goes off, no go forward. The first 20 mins flattered to deceive. Second row past sell by date. Too often run around, leaving wing and centre hopelessly outnumbered. Wynne had his poorest game since debut, but others let the side down just as badly. From this, all I can say is that Willie Army try was unbelievable, and so I won't pin that too much on the Hull FC defence, but what I would say is the left side of Catalan absolutely tore shreds out of Hull FC in this one. They absolutely just stood them up every single time.
I never realised Willie Army had so many gears, because he'd burnt off the middle defence, then he burnt off the cover defence, and then he had another go again when the fullback got across. It was pretty impressive, definitely. That was the highlight reel moment of this game for me, that try. Even though there was a couple of good efforts in the second half as well from down the right edge, actually. So first half was left edge, second half was right edge.
And then they got on with a bit more left just to put it to bed.
Yeah.
Well past bed. Yeah.
Page said, well, payback's a bitch. At least it wasn't Golden Point, though. Didn't expect to win with 16 players out, but only one real playmaker in Connor. Ill discipline and too much defensive work showed in the second half as we looked knackered. Plenty of chances, but poor execution let us down. Hope we have some troops back next week.
So that's really interesting, that, because the highlights I watched of this were like the French feed, but they've just got, you can just hear Thaler. They've got Thaler's mic in the feed. So the bit with Connor was so funny because it was like the kind of play broke down. It was a penalty and Connor walks off. And then Thaler's like, I told you down there, if I heard out your mouth again, I told you, get off, like that. So he's obviously said something to him again. He said, I told you in that corner, if I heard that again, you're gone. So he said something to him. He's probably saying something along the lines of, oh, don't worry, Thaler don't like us anyway, or something along those lines. And he's just Thaler snaps at him and just tells it, he's like, get off, go on, off you go.
Yeah, so sometimes you worry about, like, is that an authoritative way to do it or not, when you kind of seem a bit stroppy to the players.
Oh yeah, he'd lost it. He's like, I've had enough of you.
He's a wind-up merchant, Jake Connor, isn't he? So when he's winding up the opposition players, as a supporter of him, you can't criticise that too much, because he's giving your team what you need a little bit. He's getting into the head of people. But when the person that is winding up and getting into the head of is the ref.
Yeah. That is, you're on a hide into nothing. Yeah. And if all fans, with the worst refs faulters in the world, want to start whinging about refs picking on them or having a go, in any walk of life, if somebody's giving you the shits, you're putting a lot on the referee to be impartial when somebody's in your ear giving you shit the whole game. You know what I mean? He has to be impartial. He's trying to do his best. But at some point, you're going to break, aren't you? You know what I mean?
Hull FC fans are often super refs faulters, and the fan survey is giving some interesting insight into that. No one here is blaming the referee, are they, at all?
No.
But I think but like you say, it's a good insight into why, you know, sometimes maybe someone like a Connor might not get decisions going his way if he's winding the referee up.
I would say if you want a fair crack of the whip, don't piss the ref off.
Yeah.
So, as Sarah said, can't work out if we had quite that many players injured or if we are putting all our eggs into one basket, lacking in effort. We were so bad that Catalans didn't even need to get into spoiling tactics. Bring on the Pussycats next week.
So she's meaning, I guess, saving people for the Cup, thinking anyone can get in the top 5 here, so... take a risk on a league game at home against Catalan, where you might actually benefit from Catalan not always being great away from home. But Catalan have won in Hull. Catalan win in Hull. They've had 3 wins on the road this year, London, and 2 in Hull.
Yeah. Well, it's when we talk about the quality of the league, the fact that Hull FC are a good chance of making the 5 and they're shit that's where I think the Super League is suffering. That the Castleford, Hull FC, those teams just below that tier. I won't put Wakey in it because of all the injuries, but Hull are terrible, and they look like they're going to get into the playoffs, which is it's not great.
Because where else do you look? Wigan don't deserve to be in the top 5, but they're only just outside. Salford have a great first 17, but they don't have a playoff caliber squad. You don't feel like?
And they're going to get nipped. Back end of the year, they'll get nipped, unfortunately, just because they ain't got strength in depth.
Yeah, well, you would expect so, wouldn't you? But yeah, so Hull emphasises that a little bit as well. But maybe Sarah's got a point. Maybe they want to focus on the cup game against Castleford next week, and see how they go there. Because Kelly appeared to play with an injury the last couple of weeks, but not this week. So I don't know. Maybe they took Catalans lightly at home, like I say. Tom Andrews said, "Blimey, we are in trouble as a sport if the third place team are putting on performances like that. Not even West Hull's equivalent to Jesus, in brackets Jake Connor, playing in the halves could save them against the Frogs. The Willie Army try showed they must have been taking defensive tips from KR because he could have walked backwards on his hands and still scored." Yeah, I think that's fair enough. I think in terms of like stars in this game, the two centres for Catalans did all the damage, really.
But from the highlights I saw, Tompkins was also pivotal in the middle. You know what I mean? Just little interchange balls around the ruck, making breaks.
Look,
he's always a threat.
Controlling influence that Wigan are missing at the moment. Since he's moved into the halves, he's been so composed, it feels like, for the Catalan side. And maybe playing somewhere where, I'm not saying he cares less, but where he feels it less.
Carefree, should we say? A little bit more carefree about his rugby. Not giving a shit as much, but just being able to play with maybe a monkey off his back.
Yeah, he cares as much, but the caring doesn't have the whole as wide a range of emotions. I sort of feel like probably he can walk through like Perpignan if he's had a bad game and not necessarily tell what everyone's saying about it. Whereas in Wigan, it would be constant, the pressure on him as a player with the money he was getting paid and that sort of stuff. It was constant on him. I think he's enjoying it as well. And he is a top-class player. I think we miss him, and Catalans are benefiting from him regularly, definitely. But, yeah, one of the things that worried me from Hull FC's perspective was I've never seen Samisoni Langi look like he could outrun people before. I've seen him outpower people and I've seen him outskill people. That last try where Arthur Romano got a great offload away,
where he looked really quick.
Yeah, but Samisoni Langi looked like as quick as Willie Army on the other side.
He did. He looked really quick, didn't he? Yeah.
And we're bookending this conversation about this game with people who surprised us with the pace that they showed, and that just says to me that Hull FC were out on the feet and not at the races, literally.
Absolutely. Yep, I agree with that.
Fair enough. Let's move on, shall we?
Yeah, to game 5. The other game on Friday out the bunch was Salford Red Devils 28, the hapless, feckless Leeds Rhinos 16. It was 12-6 at half time, and the Rhinos maybe felt that they could have a sniff and get into this, but listening to it on the radio and seeing the highlights, it was never the case. A crowd of 3,368, and the referee was Scott Michalowskis. Basically, Salford were the better with the ball. Based on the stats, they made over 230 more metres and had 8 breaks to 2, as well as 4 fewer handling errors. Stats for the winners: Joey Lussick, 1 try assist, 54 tackles, 11 marker tackles. Jake Bibby or Bibby, depending on how you want to pronounce it, 173 metres, 2 clean breaks. Darryl Alfert's 5 tackle busts, 158 metres. Josh Jones, rumoured to be going to Leeds, 137 metres. And Jackson Hastings, hope he's coming to Leeds.
I don't know why
5 tackle
5
busts,
in for it. I don't know why
26 metres.
Yeah, I've put an extra player into normal for Salford there. Jackson Hastings is coming to Wigan, mate.
Okay, nice and good stuff. On the losing side, Matt Parcell, 1 try assist, 48 tackles. Callum Watkins, here's a shocker for the round, mate, 142 metres. We'll talk about him in a bit, but first player out the door for me. You can try that one for size. Harry Newman, 1 try, 6 tackle busts and 115 metres, 3 offloads and looking every bit the future. Cameron Smith, 1